Hello, my name is Gazanfer, and welcome to our new section where we're going to learn about other graph types. We're going to learn about all the other graph types, and we've named this the other graph types because there are a lot of visualization and ways you can visualize your data in your Microsoft Power BI desktop. So let's go through what we're going to learn in this section. Of course, we're going to learn about the waterfall and KPI graphs, how we're going to compare our negative and positive trends. That's how we're going to do it. And we're also going to learn about our pie charts, which of course you may know what they are, and our combination and tree map graphs, where you're going to compare using other options like your how large your rectangle is or any other thing related to that. You're also going to learn about the geographical analysis, where you're going to map your countries or cities or a location icon. Later on in our conclusion, we're also going to learn about scatter plots and bubble plots, which is a complex way to visualize your data, but it's useful in its own way as well. So I hope you're ready for these lessons, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello, my name is Gazanfer, and welcome to this section. In this lesson, we're going to learn about our waterfall and KPI visualizations. So basically, have you ever been in a situation ever that your business requires a trend analysis basically? Basically, in short, have you ever needed to know how much of a target you're missing out on, or if you're achieving your net target or not? And how much difference is there in this month or in that month, and the trends accordingly. All of that at once can be used in these visualizations, and these are a pretty useful way to visualize your data. So I hope you're excited to learn about these, and let's get right to it. Let's go to our Microsoft Power BI desktop. Over here we have our new data. So before we work around that data, let's just make a table. In this fields area, you can see we have our new data, which is the performance data, and let's just take it as a table and use invoiced and invoiced target, and maybe even the week ending. So as you can see, you have a lot of data available, and what is required is that you want to sort all of this, of course. But before we get to that, let's just work around with the data. Over here, as you can see, when you click on the data, your invoice target becomes, as you can see, a hierarchy. So you need to change that as well. So you can, of course, move up and down the hierarchy. Maybe you want to move to the top, and it changes accordingly. So what you want is that you want to change the week ending from the date hierarchy to the week ending only. And even though the data changes, it sets away from the hierarchy system, of course. So let's make a line chart. And as you can see, it works this way, and you can find the different values. And what I want to do right now is I want to make sure that I have a week ending value over here, but I want it as a slicer. And instead of this, I want it in a different way. So I want to sort it ascending, or I want to sort it descending. That's the option that we have. Although right now I don't want to focus on that. So let's suppose that this is our option, and we need to make the week ending values as year values. So what we can do is that we can go to the modeling tab, and over here we have the option of new column. In your column option, you're gonna make a new column called year is equal to year, and you're gonna add your week ending, of course, and then you're gonna close that data. And when you enter it, you have your year value. So when you take it out over here and you delete the slicer, you have the option of keeping it as a slicer. And you can change, you have different options available. You have the drop down, which you prefer. So you can choose to keep it in 2016 or 2015. And you can see that accordingly. So let's just keep that above here. So I'm gonna make this small and this small as well. Right now, what I want is that this should be back in its table form. And as you can see, our invoice target and invoice should have a difference so that we can, of course, map the difference between our target and our invoiced amount. So let's get right to it. We'll go to our modeling tab. We'll make a new column in which we're gonna name it the invoice difference is equal to our sum of data invoice minus our sum of our invoice target. So when we make that column, we have our invoice difference, which we can then add to our column. And of course, you can see that here we have our difference added to our table. So we want to work on that with our visualizations over here as well. So here you have your waterfall chart that you can add, and as you can see, there is your invoice, and it keeps adding up, adding up, adding up, and going to a total. So we're not going to work on it like this. We're going to just add our waterfall chart over here, and over here we're going to add the invoice and invoice target. Now what you'll notice what happens is that, as we saw before, is that it doesn't work out pretty well. So what you have to do is that you have to, of course, let me show you again. Take this and in your category add your week ending perhaps, and put your invoice difference in your y-axis, and maybe work it as a week. And as you can see, you keep on going and adding up to a target in this one. So when you look at this waterfall chart, you see that currently, of course, there is no decrease, but if there was a decrease, what happens is that it keeps on going up and adding up to a net amount. So another form of data we do have, the data visualization that we have is our KPI. So when we take our KPI, let's just delete this for now. So here's our KPI. Maybe what we want, instead of a sum like in our card, this is our card, and instead of a sum of the bank balance, instead of this sum, and how to prove that it's a sum is by looking over here, we want to know the last value. So what we do is that we choose this KPI, and when we select the bank balance, we have it over here, and we gotta select trend, of course. So let's select our week ending perhaps, and as you can see, a trend pops up behind, and in your target goals you can add your invoice target perhaps, and if you're reaching the target it turns green, and this is the last value that you currently have. And according to your filter, you can slicer, you can filter your data accordingly, and it changes as well. So that's another important visualization, the KPI visualization that works around with your data. So I hope you've understood how the KPI visualization and your waterfall visualization works, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello and welcome back to our section of other graphs, where we're going to learn about combination graphs in this lesson. So let's get right to it. What we're going to learn in our combination graph is how we're going to, of course, add up our different types of graphs and how we're going to use them together. And let's just go and look through the options on our Microsoft Power BI desktop. Let's get to it. Over here, we have our line and clustered column chart in our visualization tab, and our line and stacked column chart, which we're going to study both in this lesson, of course. So let's just go and enter our data, of course. So let's just get our data, go to Excel, and let's load our data. We have our training data 1. Let's open that. We have our data loaded over here. Let's just go and choose our line and clustered column chart. Let's select that option right now. And over here, let's maybe add our manufacturer to our axis and add to our column series. Maybe we want to add our sales, and no, to the column values, I'm sorry. And to our line value, let's maybe add our profit. So as you can see, we have our data over here with the line value and our options over here. So we can go to our options over here and choose to sort ascending, and also sort by manufacturer. So right now we have sorted it by manufacturer and we have sorted it to ascending. So we have different options available over here. Another thing that we can do is also show the value as percentage of a grand total to make it go up and down, and that's how it works. So right now when we add in our column series our channel, what happens is that it doesn't look so good. So what we prefer is the stacked column visualization in our combination graphs, and it looks way better this way. So I hope you've understood how to use your combination graphs in different ways and using these two visualizations, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello, my name is Gazanfar and welcome back to our section of other graphs. In this lesson, we're going to learn about pie graphs. And we're going to learn about the different formatting options in pie graphs and how pie graphs are useful in your visualization of data. So let's get right to it. Let's go to our Microsoft Power BI desktop. Over here we had our combination graph as we used before. Let's just make it go over there or maybe even delete it. And over here we have the option for pie chart and our donut chart. So let's select our pie chart and let's add some values. Now it's important to remember that whatever values you use in your pie chart are to be part of a whole, because each part is a percentage of a whole. So let's get right to it. Let's get to our channel and let's add the sales. So here we have it. We can see that each channel has some sales and how much it contributes to each sale. So let's go to our formatting options to make it easier for us to see. So we can change the data colors, we can change the detail labels. I feel like they are too small. And in our detail labels, we have the option for color and other options as well. We can choose which things we need to add, like the title. We can bring it in the middle. We can increase the size. We have the option for background, lock aspect, our general options, our border, and we have other options as well available in our labels and in our legends. If we switch it on, we have the options of naming the legends. Maybe we don't want our legend named that, but of course we do want it named that, so we're gonna leave it that way. Another option we have is our donut graph, which we're gonna get right to it. So over here, as you can see, the donut chart is very similar to the pie chart, but it's different because it's in the shape of a donut. It has a hole in the middle. So let's get right to it. Let's get to our formatting. We have our data labels, and over here we can add and label the same features that we did over there. We can change the radius, of course, in the shape. We can decrease the radius all the way to make it a pie chart, or we can increase it all the way to make it like this wheel shape, but I prefer the default. Then we have the title, we have the general options, we have the tooltip, we have options in that as well. So currently you can also filter your pie chart and donut chart as usual. Like, let's come over here and maybe we want the manufacturer and the profit. So we have that, and we can cross filter these as well, and we can, as you can see how much the reseller has in the profit by manufacturer, or the online has in the profit by manufacturer, or the store has in the profit by manufacturer. So it's pretty easy to visualize your data and cross filter it amongst each other. There are other format options available in your donut and pie charts as well, which are pretty easy to understand, so I'm not going to be explaining them. You can tag along and see which requirement suits you as well. I hope you've understood the contents of this lesson and you've understood how to make your donut and pie charts, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello, my name is Gazanfra and welcome back to our section of Other Graphs. In this lesson, we're going to learn about our Treemap graphs. In the Treemap graphs, we're going to learn how it's different from the other visualization because it uses rectangular shapes. So let's get right to it. Let's go to our Microsoft Power BI desktop and let's visualize this profit by manufacturer into a Treemap graph. So when you go to our visualization tab, you can see there's an icon for our Treemap graphs. When you select it, you get the option of rectangles over here. So there are a lot of formatting options that you can see. Over here you have the legend, you have the data colors, you can change them all according to what you want, and you can play around with them, of course, which is pretty easy to understand. But what I'm trying to explain is how it's different. You can, of course, filter your data. As you can see, almost every data visualization can be filtered. And pretty much right now, if I want to see the catalog, you can see how much profit the catalog has in each manufacturer. So that's pretty easy to understand. So let's get back to it. And another option that you have in your tree map is your details option. So when you go to your tree map, you can add, let's suppose, the channel, and each rectangular that you have is segregated into more rectangles. So you can work around with them. So, and if you select, like for example, your online, so your online tells you which part Fabricam covers. So in this, I can tell that Fabricam covers this much in the online segment. Right now, I can't see the text properly, so let's go to the format option and let's go to our data labels. Or let's go to our data labels, switch them on, and let's increase the text size. So when you increase the text size, of course, you can see all of them, and you can work around with that as well. Maybe I want to delete this, and maybe I want to make this a bigger option. So right now it's much easier to see as compared to before. You can make this a very big visualization as well, or you can maybe segregate it to a small area, which wouldn't be very helpful, but you can use this according to your requirements, of course. So I hope you've understood how the Treemap visualization works, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello, my name is Kazanfer, and welcome back to the section where we learn about other graphs. And in this lesson, we're going to learn about our geographical graphs. So, what are geographical graphs, and how do we use mapping techniques in our Microsoft Power BI desktop? That's what we're going to learn in this lesson. Let's just go to our Microsoft Power BI desktop, and here we can see in our under our visualization tab our map option and other options that include a map, as you can see. So let's just select our map option. When we select our map option, an example demo graph pops up. As you can see, the larger you make it, the larger it becomes. So let's just select our country because it's a mapping option. And as you can see, you can visualize it and make it as big as you want. You can go to the formatting options. You have the page size, the page background. I mean, you have your data colors, you have your bubbles. You can increase the size of the bubbles. You can decrease. You can revert them to default. You can open your heat map, but I prefer it off. And you have other options that you can look through with as well. So currently I want to notice the sales. So I click on my sales, and as I can see that the sales, it differs according to your bubble size. So the sales differ according to the bubble size and are unique according to the bubble size as well. So you can see because this bubble size is big, it shows that the sales is the most in our United States of America. So that's how it works. So you can choose maybe if you want a profit as well in this, and you can choose to keep whatever suits you, but as you can see the bubble sizes will differ. So we have another option as well, which is called the ARCGIS maps option, and when you click on that, it is different from the map option because this does not use our Bing machine. It requires a subscription and is, of course, uh, has its own options, as you can see. So when you work around with this, you can see that Russia, Australia, everything is there, and you have the option. But the only difference is that you're required a subscription in this. As you can see, you have to sign in or sign up for it. So it's your preference whether you want to use this or not, but it's what suits you that's most important. So I hope you've understood how the geographical graphs work and how the mapping techniques work, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello, my name is Gazanfer and welcome back to this section. In this lesson, we're going to learn about our scatter plots and bubble plots. These two are a very good way to visualize your data, and basically they get to tell you about your trends and how your dates work around your data. So you'll see how it works in our and you'll realize how powerful of a data visualization it is. So let's just go to our Microsoft Power BI desktop. Let's load our data. So after opening our data, we can see that we have our fields, and over here we can see that we have the scatter chart. So let's click on that, and so here we have our demo graph in our Microsoft Power BI desktop of the scatter plot. You can increase or decrease the size, but let's just add our values for now. Here in the fields area, you can add your details, the legend, the x-axis, the y-axis, the size, the play axis, the tooltips, and there are the other regular options available as well. So let's just explore that. For now, let's add our x-axis and y-axis. To our y-axis, let's add our profit, and to our x-axis, let's add our sales. Here, as you can see, there's one dot available which represents the total sales and the total profit. So let's just get to our scatter plot option and let's see how we can make more bubbles available. So maybe we want to see to our details the product category. So when we add that, as you can see, the product category of movies and audiobooks has this sales and this profit. The product category of cell phones has this much sales and this much profit. Here we have our cell phones category with this much sales and this much profit. So you can like hover over it, and your tooltip of course tells you how much sales and how much profit there is. And of course there is this trend line that you need to observe. So you can add anything to your details area, and according to that it comes up. So what you can do is go to your format area, and maybe I want to see my x-axis more properly, so I can increase the size on my x-axis and increase the size on my y-axis as well. Of course you can choose to keep your y-axis on the right or the left, but I prefer left. So let's just increase that size too, and here we have our sales and our profit, and this is our scatter plot. So other options that we do have in our scatter plot is the legend. Of course, you can add your channel available over here, and what happens is that it increases, and every time you click on a channel that highlights. Right now the red is highlighted, store can be highlighted, online can be highlighted, or catalog can be highlighted, and that's according to you of course. But let's say we want store to be highlighted, this will stay highlighted, others will not. I want my title to be seen as well. I want it aligned to the middle, and I want it, big, so I can see it and work it out of course. So another option that you have in your scatter plot is your option of size. So to vary with your bubble size, you need to keep something in it. So maybe the order quantity can be your size. But of course, as you can see, it becomes very congested, which you do not want. So sometimes it's preferable to maybe add it to your details, and then you can drill down and you can work around with that, of course. But maybe that's how you want to work with your details. You want to work with the drill down, or let's just close that. Maybe for now, I want to see my product subcategory. So I go to the product subcategory and add to the details. And as you can see, it becomes very congested and hard to see. So it's preferable if you add your size tab that you don't use a very big details tab view. So let's just add our cost. No, let's add our channel to our fields. And let's work with that, or maybe let's just work with our product category so that doesn't jump around much. So here we have our product category, and as you can see, the bubble plots are pretty easy to understand and work with. So another thing that we can do is we can work with our play axis. So what I prefer is in the play axis, I want to work around with my date, of course. So I take the order date, I put it in the play axis, and as you can see, an axis is created. It's called the play axis, and when you it actually plays around and tells you the date that it's working on. So Sunday, December, it gives you a continuous category of what's going on the certain date and how the sales are working, how the draft is working. So let's just pause that. Another option that you have, let's remove our play axis, is your maximum line, minimum line that you can add from your analysis, your ratio line. You can add the x-axis constant line, and you can work around with that, of course, but let's see whatever suits you. You can also move to legend or x-axis from here, but that doesn't work around. This is just a way around moving your data. So that's another way to work around with your options. You can go to here and move around, or you can change these options of count. And as we've learned before, it's pretty easy to work around with your data over here. You just have to explore it and see which requirement suits you better. So I hope you've understood how scatter plots and bubble plots work, and I hope to see you in the next lesson as well. Hello, my name is Gazanfer, and we've finally come to the conclusion to our section of other graphs. And we've learned a lot of things in this section. We've learned about the different types of visualizations available other than our trend analysis. We've learned about the KPI visualization and the waterfall visualization and how they work. And we've learned about our different scatter plots and bubble plots, and we've learned about our combination graphs and how the line graphs and the bars basically combine, and we've learned how the Treemap graphs work and the geographical graphs work. So we've learned a lot in this lesson, and I hope you've understood how other graphs work as well, and I hope to see you in the next section as well.